Hi, boys and girls. Today I'm going to read you a story called Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. This story is a tall tale. Paul was a very big boy, born in a very small town on the banks of the St. Lawrence River. At school, Paul had to squish his way into the classroom. He was not a very good student. He was far more interested in studying his favorite thing to eat. Mom's pancakes! Math, Paul said, is just not very tasty. The countryside grew every kind of vegetable and fruit, but Paul and Babe wanted pancakes. Paul's mom set them down for a talk. You have to start eating the food we grow. You're going to get sick if all you eat is pancakes. She gave them each some broccoli, but when Paul and Babe tried it, they spat it right out. Ugh, these green things are for the rabbits. What big guys like us need are pancakes, said Paul. So Paul's mom cooked pancakes all day and night, and her son and Babe greedily gobbled up each and every delicious one. Being a growing boy and ox, they could eat a lot. I just cannot keep feeding you and Babe all these pancakes, Mom said, panting. I have fields to tend. Paul and Babe tried to help Mom by working in the vegetable fields, but their big feet just squished and squashed everything in sight. Paul's and Babe's appetites had become too big, and so had they. One day, they decided it was time to follow their stomachs and find their pancake fortune out in the great big world. So Paul hugged his mom and promised to write, and he and Babe took off into the deep, dark forest. Soon Paul's and Babe's heads were in the clouds, and their stomachs were rumbling like hungry bears. So much so, they barely heard the man who was calling to them. We've got a big problem down on the Syrup River, he yelled. I need a couple of guys with big appetites to come help out. Paul bent down and looked him straight in the eye. Do you have pancakes? The man laughed. We've got more pancakes than even you can eat, or my name ain't Brimstone Bill, he said. We will see about that, Paul replied. When they got to the river, it was a mess. A truck had rolled over and dumped its load of flour into the river, whipping up a sizable amount of batter, which had caused a log jam. The hot summer sun soon had that batter sizzling up into more pancakes than Paul and Babe had ever seen. Their dream had come true. They put on their best eating hats and went to it. They ate and ate and ate pancakes until Paul's shirt buttons popped off. When every last pancake had been eaten, the logs swept down the river without a problem. Bill could not believe his eyes. Why don't you and Babe come work for me, logging the land? I'll pay you as many pancakes as you can eat. Paul and Babe enthusiastically agreed. Up and down the country, Paul and Babe tromped and stomped with Bill. From Wisconsin to California, up the Little Garlic River, and down the Onion, through tall wolf country, and across the Bear-Tooth Plateau. Paul and Babe helped log the land. Out west, Paul and Babe tried to level the ground by filling valleys with pancake batter. When the sun came up, the ground grew hot and started to cook. Up popped a whole mountain range right in front of them. The mountains used to be bigger, but Paul and Babe were hungry and snacked on some of them. Because of their uneven appearance, folks called them the Rocky Mountains. Down along the Colorado River, a stray pancake got picked up by a strong wind, and Babe took after it. Paul tried to hold him back. He dug his heels into the ground. When Babe finally caught the pancake, he and Paul had dug up a huge swath of dirt that is now called the Grand Canyon. But one day, Babe's bright blue glow began to fade. He was feeling sick. He just lay there like a big blue oxberry. Paul was worried and not feeling so good himself. Bill called a doctor to come and examine them both. The doctor said, "You seem to have been eating too many pancakes." "Too many pancakes!" Paul exclaimed. "That's impossible. There is no such thing as too many pancakes." The doctor explained to Paul and Babe that they needed to balance their diet and eat different foods, or they would both become even more ill. Paul figured that they had better do what the doctor said, but where could they find enough good food for them both? Paul thought for a moment. Where? 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 Then it hit him. Home! Paul and Babe said their goodbyes to Bill. When they got back home, Paul's mom was mighty glad to see them. And sure enough, there was plenty of healthy food for them both. Soon, Babe turned bright blue again. "See, your mom is always right," Paul's mom said proudly. From that day forward, they stayed in town, growing Bunyan-sized veggies and helping the townspeople and always listening to what Mom said. And, of course, eating a heap of fruit and vegetables. And that is how Paul Bunyan and his best friend Babe changed the American landscape and became the greatest lumberjacks ever. And they never ate any fluffy, delicious pancakes ever again. Well, every now and then they might sneak one or two. Just don't tell Mom. Now what I'd like you to think about is, what was it that made Paul Bunyan a tall tale? I'd like you to write a class comment about what made Paul Bunyan a tall tale. Think about this chart before you do that. Tall tales are a tale usually that stretches the truth. The heroes are larger than life, and sometimes the hero is based on a real person. Think about this and use this as you write your class comment. Have fun!